So I love talking to you guys, giving you guys some intel of the Arizona Cardinals, talking about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. Remember, I'm at training camp 3 to 4 times a week. I'm on the field with the media, chatting it up, getting scoops, hearing what other people think. It's a real treat, I might add, to be able to pick the brains of other media members as we're sitting on the sidelines. What did you see? What did I see? What formations are in? Who's starting? Oh, who just got injured? Why is there a scuffle? It's really great information that I love to pass on to you guys first, the subscribers. So I appreciate you guys continuously listening to some of my Cardinals coverage. But there was something the other day, and I was present for this press conference, where the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, had came out and said, Kyler Murray's not playing in the preseason. And at that point, wouldn't answer about Marvin Harrison Jr., but that would lead me to believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play in the preseason. Now we'll get to should he, because if he wasn't, Jonathan Gannon would probably just say he's not playing. There's no reason to really hide it. And honestly, I'm a little confused why Jonathan Gannon would hide it. It's a preseason game after all. But here's my issue. And here's something that is a minor misstep. Although, I get it. It's not like he's trailblazing a new path here. But coming out and just saying Kyler Murray is not going to play in the preseason, I didn't love that. You know, we kind of talked about this last episode, last show for the Ben Garcia show. And we had said this. The Arizona Cardinals need to go get an edge rusher because if that defense falls apart, you then start to question what Jonathan Gannon was doing when they had time to figure out the edge rusher position after B.J. Ojulari went down. Well, similar to that, it's all good vibes right now for Jonathan Gannon. I love Jonathan Gannon. I love Monty Austin for it. I was so wrong on the Jonathan Gannon head coach. I just thought defensive head coach, maybe not going to connect with Kyler Murray very well. That was all clearly wrong. And you know on this channel, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm just going to give you my God-honest opinion. And here's kind of where I saw with Jonathan Gannon. Saying Kyler Murray is not going to play in the preseason doesn't help anyone. Kyler Murray has, if I'm not mistaken, 8 games, 7 games in this offense. He needs as many reps as he can get with this offense. And yes, I get it. Injury concerns. Whatever. I'm not asking for Kyler Murray to play a full quarter. But I would like to see him play a series. Maybe 2 series. I think 3 series is pushing it for this offense and for Kyler Murray, especially in a game that doesn't matter. But here's my main point. If Kyler Murray, when Kyler Murray doesn't play in the preseason, and the Cardinals, who start off with a pretty rough task ahead of them, Rams, who they don't have a great history against over the past couple of years, and the Buffalo Bills on the road, if the Cardinals start 0-2, or start 0-3, or 1-3, or 1-4, or whatever it is, the low-hanging fruit will be, and it's completely fair criticism, would this team be so behind the 8 ball if they had just played their starters in the preseason? Would that have been the case? And then you start to think, well, does Jonathan Gannon actually know what he's doing? I mean, this was a clear misstep. It was right in front of him. That is what I worry about. That if the Cardinals don't play their guys, which they're not going to, Kyler Murray being the main guy of note, you start to think to yourself, if it doesn't work out in the regular season, that's what people are going to point to. They're going to say, well, why didn't you play your guys in the preseason? They weren't ready. Why did you think they were? Lack of judgment. These are things that people are going to poke holes into. So I think Jonathan Gannon is taking a bit of a gamble here. Whereas if he plays his guys in the preseason, and even if they start 1-2 or 0-2, you say to yourself, well, what are you going to do? Buffalo Bills are really good. You were on the road. At least you were possibly competitive. Well, the Rams are really good. Super Bowl pedigree. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford. Sean McVay. The Cardinals defense wasn't very good. And you could justify it until they get to that easier part of their schedule and start to rattle off some wins. At the end of the day, I don't think Kyler Murray not playing in the preseason is going to affect anything midway through the regular season. But early on in the season, it absolutely could, and that's opening yourself up to take real criticism if it doesn't work out for you early on in the season. And then there's my final point, and here's the last thing that I'll harp on. If the Kansas City Chiefs, who are off of back-to-back Super Bowls and 3 in the last 4 years, are playing their players in the preseason for a full quarter, reportedly, I might add, you should be following the Kansas City Chiefs model. If Patrick Mahomes isn't too good to play in the preseason, what the bleep are you doing? Kyler, as much of a fan as I am in him, he should be playing in the regular season. And especially after seeing Andy Reid say, no, I want our guys to be ready. That's who the Cardinals should be copying. Not the Sean McVay Los Angeles Rams motto of a few years ago when they didn't play anyone in the preseason and they started off 8-0. That's old news. That is old news from years ago. We're in the new era now. 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. You should be emulating what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. And if Andy Reid and if Patrick Mahomes say, we need to be playing in the preseason, that is a model that you should be following. Now listen, I'm not trying to condemn Jonathan Gannon. I love the guy, great head coach, great GM and Monty Ossenfort, and no one is a bigger fan of Kyler Murray than I am. But I do have to be honest. I believe this is a clear misstep. And whether Marvin Harrison Jr. plays or not, it doesn't matter to me. If Kyler Murray's not playing, why is he playing? I don't need hospital balls from Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune, which, side note, don't listen to anyone else. I've been there. I'm going to be clear, honest, and unbiased with you. I'm not going to be a fanboy. Clayton Tune and Desmond Ridder stink. I've watched them in training camp. Clayton Tune's having a tough training camp, and Desmond Ridder might be even worse. Those guys can't play. Now, regardless, if Kyler Murray goes down, your season's probably done anyways. You probably want those guys riding it out and stinking it up and getting a better draft pick. But Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune can't play. And this team has a clear backup quarterback need if they are trying to compete this year. But piggybacking off of that, I don't need Marvin Harrison Jr. catching hospital balls from Clayton Tune and Desmond Ridder and figuring out the connection or the timing with those two guys. Either be all in, everyone's going to play in the preseason, maybe besides a Buddha who's a veteran and really doesn't need it, but everyone else, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., are playing in the preseason, or don't play him at all. We don't need this fake chemistry and these hospital balls thrown to Marvin Harrison Jr. and figuring out timing with Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune. Be all in or be all out. And I'd prefer you to be all in and see that the preseason isn't too good for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and for you to follow that model. And that's where I'm at. The Arizona Cardinals should be playing in the preseason. Not this 1 foot in, 1 foot out, everyone in or everyone out. Don't half bleep it. Figure it out, and hopefully it works out, because I'm rooting for it. I don't want to see the Cardinals go on a 1-3 stretch or a 1-2 stretch and say, I was right. That's toxic. That's stupid. I'd rather the team be competitive and be good. And so the Cardinals, they have their plan, but we'll see if it's the right one.